Hi, Chef. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So you are at Northmoor Country Club, and that's just outside of Chicago. And this is a relatively new post for you, correct?
Yes, this will be my first season.
Okay, so give us your background. Where did you come from and what brought you to Chicago?
So I'm from Peoria, Illinois. I primarily worked in like the small independent restaurants. I worked for my father, who was a certified executive chef for a couple years. And then I came to Chicago to work at Union League Club with Chef Michael Garbin. He's American Academy Chef, Honorable Golden Toque. I worked at the Union League Club for the remainder of my internship. I went to Edgewood Valley. Prior to Northmoor, I was at Columbia Yacht Club, which is like an actual ferry vessel from 1920. I helped them do a $3 million remodel on their kitchen. And then the Northmoor job opened up, and I ended up taking that.
So why leave the ferry? Why go into the country club?
Northmoor presented itself as a big challenge. The guy that I was replacing had been there for 45 years, and he was beloved, which in a club setting, that's a really, really long time. And it was a great way to kind of learn all sorts of new things. It's also predominantly a Jewish country club, so I was able to learn more of like the Jewish cuisines and the holidays, really strengthening that sort of skill set. But I just found that it had more opportunities. There was more events, more things on the golf course other than just being stuck inside of a boat.
You weren't seasick, were you?
No.
That's good. Yeah. Coming into a club after 40 years of the same chef, that's got to be a lot to get your arms around. How did you kind of introduce yourself to the membership and get them on board with such a change after the same chef for so long?
So we decided there was 100 things that we wanted to change, but instead of trying to do 100 things all at once, we broke it up into 10 small changes. So we would do 10 things. Once those 10 things stuck, we would add another 10 things. In terms of like the menu, we only changed a couple things in the beginning, and then the features that went over really well would go onto the menu. It would be very incremental. And we kept the former chef's name on the menu for the first few months just as like a recognition for him. But for the most part, we've just been slowly changing the culture of the place and making it more modern.
What about the staff? Was there much turnover in the staff when you came on?
No, so I didn't lose any staff members. The pantry department, they've been there combined 120 years.
Wow.
The longest term employee is 50 years. The hotline, there really wasn't much staff. They only had one guy, and then the sous chef would work service. So we've added quite a few staff members as well. So we've grown the team from 6 cooks to a total of 10. We were able to keep all the stewards, all the dishwashers, all the food runners and everything. But the older group and the newer group have really integrated really well.
Now, you mentioned that your father was a certified executive chef, and you're also pursuing certification, correct?
Yes.
So why is that important to you?
My dad always said it, when you're looking at people's resumes, you could have the same amount of experience or the same amount of education, but it's what you did with it within that time frame. And pushing yourself to get the certifications or go to events like the plate crafts or the culinary enrichment program through the CIA are all things that give you like a step above the next person.
What is your long-term goal? You've been at Northmoor for a year. You have quite an impressive background. Where do you see your career going from here?
I would like to attempt the CMC exam at some point. Mm-hmm. And at some point maybe venture back into like the city club environment. When I was at Union League, Columbia Yacht Club, it was more like very event focused, mm-hmm. less focused on the golf aspects, where we were doing more modern buffet displays, more up-to-date food trends and things like that.
What advice do you have to young chefs out there who are looking to build a career like yours? What advice would you give them?
To take any opportunity that comes across your way. A lot of people told me I shouldn't go for the Northmoor job. Don't do it. He's been there 45 years. But it's a learning experience, as a challenge. So when you see those, you should jump on them.